We are live. Hello, welcome to the Toon Boom Animation stream. My name is Mel.
Oh,
Actually, it's Marie-Ève, but no one knows how to say my name, so I go by Mel in English. It's easier.
or
And
Z?
I am what?
You go by Z too.
I also go by Z, but that's my secret identity.
Oh my goodness.
But it's not
Sorry.
so secret anymore, so it's fine. I am also Z on the YouTubes. I make the YouTube's video and about animation in general, which is fun, I think. And
It can be fun.
today, yeah, and today I'm on Toon Boom's Twitch and YouTube channel as well, and we're gonna have a cool stream about um, rigged animation, like what you are experiencing now on screen with this lovely interpretation of the bird brain. And I am joined today with a super amazing, cool, and funny person called Rebecca. And they'll introduce themselves to you now. Woo!
Woo! Thank you. Hi everyone. So I am a Toon Boom animator. I've for this last 7 years, I've only been working with rigs. Most at Mercury Filmworks until recently, but now I'm with the Wild Kratts. They still use Toon Boom rigs. Um, yeah, and then I'll work on my own stuff on the side. I like to see what you can push with rigs because I know a lot of people have when they think of rigged animation, they kind of think of the more old school, like real,
Yeah.
the real flash looking stuff. I like the show 16, but when that it's kind of that style where it's rarely it's very flat looking.
Do you know that 16 was a super revolutionary show when it came out?
Yes, I know.
Um, it's got one of the first things for many things concerning harmony and puppet animation. Super
I know
cool to see that.
it is a big stepping stone. Um,
But it's been more than 10 years now.
yeah, that show is like what, 15 years now?
I think it might be close to
Older.
20-ish
Oh,
because I know I was in elementary school watching it. We're old. We're
oh, I'm
old.
sorry. I'm sorry if you think we're young and hip. We're not. We're super like old.
Gremlins, old kobold gremlin people.
But it's okay because we're still cool. We're cool. We're
Yeah, we're
hip.
still a child in our hearts. Just my back is not following and my knees are broken.
Oh, anytime I bend over, I can hear my knees cracking. I'm like, oh my
each time,
god.
each time I bend on, each time I just like bend my knees, I can feel my legacy being like, "You don't do that."
And people are like, oh, welcome to being old. I'm like, no, no, not yet. And this job is not great for your for your posture. So remember, kids, get up and stretch.
I mean, we usually keep that thing for the end of the stream, but let's start with this. Let's give advice to people. um, Jokes aside, this is actually really important. Everybody makes the joke that when you work in animation, like your back and wrists and arms are going to get destroyed, but there's ways to limit or prevent if that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yes, we joke about it, but please, people, stop joking about it and like realize that this is really bad. So like,
Mm-hmm.
watch your posture, take breaks, stretch, so important. Hydrate, like, let's make it a thing and not a joke anymore, please. And yeah, take breaks, it's so important. Like, you can buy the most expensive gamer chair to do your animation.
True.
If you don't get up and stretch, you will still be hurted.
I don't know. I heard some of the gamer chairs like are so not great for your posture.
They're awful.
It's more of like aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I always say like because I know a lot of people who struggle with exercising and being an animator. And they're like, I'm always so stiff. And I said, it sounds so little, but honestly, just getting up and going for like a quick.
10-minute walks a day makes all the difference.
Oh yeah. If you have a pet, like I do, you don't have a choice, which is great.
Yeah. Get a dog. Borrow
Yeah,
a dog from someone. You can also borrow a dog. Your
true,
neighbor
true.
probably have a dog. Go walk it. It's gonna be happy.
No, it's
um,
good for your mental health too.
yeah, and if you live in a northern country like ours, it also gives you vitamin sun
D,
in your face.
vitamin D.
Yeah, like sunny delight,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a good replacement for sun in your life.
No, Sunny, it's just sugar.
You can drink your sunny D as you walk, but wait, this stream is not sponsored, by the way.
No,
Should
no, no. Be great if.
okay, so it's been a few minutes. I think everybody was able to make it to the stream, and if not, it's okay because you can watch it later. It's VOD,
Mm-hmm.
viewable later, video on demand. Yeah, that's what it means. And yeah, so as usual, how these streams goes is we have a lovely guest. We're gonna chit chat for an hour. But if you guys have questions in the chat, you're more than welcome to ask them. We might or might not answer them, depending on many factors. But we usually try to answer the most as we can. Of course, we cannot talk about anything that is NDA, so please don't ask like, show us everything you're working on. It's not gonna happen. And
I
always
mean,
stay respectful.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say technically we could show NDA, but then we'd be fired. So,
Yeah.
and that would make us very sad.
Yeah. Not gonna happen. So, yeah, without further delay, let's get started. So, hi everyone, welcome to this rigging and cutout animation stream. Um, Here, Rebecca is really, really, really great at both, I think. And it's not because like to learn rigging in animation, like yes, going to school is a good thing if you find a quality school that doesn't cost $100,000 a year.
I went,
Yes, you may, but hmm?
oh, sorry, I was gonna say I went to Algonquin college.
Right?
Yeah,
Everything
that
is
was
super
my
cool.
education.
And when it comes to rigging and animation, it's not so much about the certificate that's going to make you an amazing rigger. It's really about the experience in what you do. And whenever I get asked, like, how do I learn rigging? Of course, you can learn it in the class, you can learn it in the course, which is great. But it's a great start and everything. But a lot of the rigging, and I don't know if you agree, but I think a lot of knowing how to be a good rigger is just rigging. You do it, and then you try to animate the monstrosity you created, and you're like, why did I do this? Why did I make this decision? And then, you try to not make the same mistake the next time you rig something else.
Yeah,
And
I agree with
yeah,
that.
I think that one of the reason your things are so cool and so efficient is because you rig a lot of out of necessity. Like you learn to do it because you wanted to animate, right?
Hmm. Well, I didn't
So
learn
yeah.
rigging till like 2 years ago.
Well, you learned it by you pegged things together to make them move, right?
True.
But like, I
Like,
don't think you took like a class about it. That's not what I did.
no, I got a job before, like, they started teaching how to do rigging in school.
Same.
Um, and my first job was working on Tangled the series. So I didn't have time to learn rigging because, like, that show, like, on its own was just, it was just,
A lot.
there was a lot. It was a lot to take in. But it was cool because, like, you can go inside the rig of, like, this rig is so simple. But I remember Tangled, like, you'd really have to zoom out and just be a whole, like, hierarchy.
A
And
whole
at first,
octopus of
yeah, and like maybe to some people, like, if they see this, like, maybe to this is already a little overwhelming. But once you really get the hang of like why it's set up like this, it's a
like
lot
rigging is a lot
easier.
of repetition as well. Like if you look at these notes, people like a lot of it is just the same thing all over again.
Yeah. Also, I did peg and then mass. Oh my goodness. See, so this is the thing. Like, I don't need these two, so I could actually just probably get rid of that one. There we go.
Yeah, double pegs are not always necessary. Sometimes they are though, for some little things.
Some little things,
I
you
like
know.
to use it in the mouth. I like to have one peg for like the mouth, like if I
Mhm.
move it around the face, and then one peg if I want to make stretch and squash, just because I like to
Oh,
do that
okay. I
on
know.
advanced rig, not on most of my
Yeah,
things.
I know. Like you like to like do a lot of interesting things with your rigs. I know with Mercury rigs, it was very they didn't like doing like shortcuts for stretch and squash. They prefer if you do it by hand, just so it kind of gives more of a hand looked feel to it. Which it can look nice, but it's very time consuming.
Yeah, I always try to find a balance, which is interesting when you do rigging. I think, in my opinion, it should be a balance between making it look cool and hand
Mm-hmm.
drawn, quote unquote, but also not overextending your artist as well. Like like there's a I think I always try to find a balance because I have no budget. So yeah, try to be efficient in many things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know for me, like my first rigs were like overcomplicated, just because I wanted to see like
Same.
just to see how it works. I remember I would like individually rig each finger, uh,
Oh boy.
just to see, like, to see how it is to work with it. I hated it, so I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna do that again. But it was still cool to like try it out.
Like yes for
Um,
a close up, but
yeah,
yes.
but I remember like trying to pose out the fingers, and it was too much work. At that point, that's
Yeah.
when it's just drawing it out is a lot simpler.
Yeah, oftentimes people watching this stream, rigging is great for a lot of things, but let it be known, most of the time, hands and mouth are almost always like hands. I'd say 99.9999%. It's just a drawing substitution. Sometimes
Hmm.
people feel frisky. They're gonna like put the hand shape like on the line art, and sometimes have the thumb be on the overlay art, so you can move it on its own if you feel frisky. But usually it's just a drawing substitution.
Hmm.
The mouth very often is drawing subs as well. Some shows use deformers for mouth. Depends on the style, depends on the creature.
Yeah, I know
Um,
for Tangled it was very heavy deformers because they wanted
yeah.
very subtle movements on their mouth. Like if you look at close-up shots in Tangled where they're doing lip sync, like you can
And
see
lion.
like and line guard, you can see like the tongue like does very subtle movements, and like the lips will like quiver a tiny bit even after they're done talking. That show really taught me how far you could push rigs. I was very impressed with
Mm-hmm. Same. Not that I worked on it, but I dissected a bunch of stuff.
that.
That-
Hmm.
Out of curiosity, I'm a curious person. That's why I do my job. Um, yeah, yeah. So hand are drawing subs. Mouth often drawing subs. Eyes less and less, but depending on the style, sometimes it's faster to just redraw an eye rather than
True.
push a deformer 500 times to close it. Like I think that's what I saw you do. Like instead of
Yeah,
trying to
I just
deform
so
the eye, you just redo it. It takes five
yeah,
seconds.
so actually I can cheat it. I would actually just reuse the I would copy and paste this and just like um hang on, I could actually probably just do it again. So I just made a new copy of the eye. I actually will just get rid of the color, and then I'll just find the points, and like this is like a really cheap way. And then maybe just like move it up a bit. And I already got like a half closed lid up there. Do that, and then put back in the color. So that's just a really quick way of like finding a link. But there's times like yeah, you can just quickly redraw the eye.
Yeah, yeah. Especially for Blink, since usually it happens so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I love because when I first worked on cutout animation, it was on
Mm-hmm.
Flash, and everything had to be drawing subs, right? There was absolutely no deformers happening. Um, it was on Wakfu, which was a very hard show to work
Yeah,
on.
that was that show looked really cool.
Thanks, it was painful. Um,
Oh.
But like so much hair movement, but no deformers to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what like this taught me a lot about trying to be efficient with what you've got, which is almost nothing, right? Um, so when I jumped over to Toon Boom and I saw that you could have deformers, for me personally, deformer eyes are so freaking amazing because I do love to do subtle emotions with eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I would trade, like if I had to choose deformer mouth or deformer eyes, I would totally jump for deformer eyes, not mouth. How about you?
Oh,
You team
um,
mouth or team eyes? If you had
I,
to have one.
I I will say the eyes. I love working with the eyes.
Right? It's so fun.
You can convey so much emotion with it.
And
Um,
I love to draw mouth too much to use deformers.
yeah, there are some rigs I've worked with where they did rig the mouth like where every piece is like separate, and it can be a bit of a pain. I will say,
Yeah.
like, I do find rigging, if you have the teeth and the tongue separate, I think that is a handy thing because when you're talking, your teeth shouldn't be moving a lot, except for the bottom teeth, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at traditional drawn animation, the thing I don't like about that is when I watch the mouth, I can see the teeth are popping a lot, which can be very frustrating to see. Especially like if they use like the same mouthpiece but just like like moved it down, but like the teeth
I
also
was
moves
watching the
down.
Little Mermaid cartoon lately, like the part of your world like sequence, and like the animation is stellar. Don't get me wrong, but then
Hmm.
I would look at the lip sync and be like, the teeth are all over the place, but
Oh
it
yeah,
still looked good. So like it made me feel good about myself. But
yeah, but also back then, like it took forever. Like you would have to
I
scan it,
know.
and then like at that time, I think you had to like photograph it and wait for the film to come,
Yep.
and then that's when you can see like if it's working or not. Luckily nowadays, like we can instantly see if something's working or not. Even
I
like
know.
in school,
Now we're
yeah,
doing
even
it
my
on paper.
yeah, well, my school day we had to do by paper, and
Same.
yeah, like we had computers, so it was still a little better. But our teachers, like, man, back in our days, like we had to go in this tiny little room. It was hot, and you had to like take pictures of it. Back then, I was like, geez, sounding like being an animator sound awful. I'm not gonna lie.
Dedication. When I was in school, we were one of the biggest cohorts of every year for many reasons, but we were like, instead of 22 graduates, we were like 47. So like there was not enough room for everybody, and we had to wait in line to like even scan our animation. It was awful. So that also
Oh.
teaches you a lot about being resourceful, right?
Mm-hmm.
um we have some interesting questions in the chat, which one leads to something I wanted to talk about. So, for
Oh,
somebody who doesn't know anything about rigging, what is a drawing substitution? Could I bother you and ask you to give us a look at the drawing subs window for your eyes again, or whatever you
oh
want?
yeah, yeah, sure.
After
Actually,
you're
hang
done
on.
with that post, don't stress it.
It's okay. I just there we go.
So,
Um.
for those of you who don't know, guys, drawing substitutions is when you use different hand drawn like drawings to do your different rig pieces. So like if you have a blink, instead of pulling the former points, you just, draw a substitution drawing. So that was a question that was in the chat. So I hope this helps.
And
Imagine
how?
that when you're doing hand-drawn animation like a bouncing ball, you have many frames of the ball bouncing. So in rigging, instead of using the frames as animation, we use these drawings as pieces of your rig
Mm-hmm.
in a way.
So like if I can just draw like an eye real quick, and now that eye is going to be in my library. So like instead
I
of
love it.
yeah, so instead of redrawing that eye again, like later if I wanted to reuse it, it's like, oh, it's in my like my substitutions, and I could just
I
reuse
like to
it.
call it the pile of drawings. It's like
Kind of,
you
yeah,
have a
yeah,
pile of drawings there and you pick it up when you need.
exactly, yeah. And then you're like, maybe I want like this kind of eye.
I love this. It had a lot of Don't Starve vibes.
That game is hard. Every time I try to
It's
play
so
it, I'm not.
fun.
It is fun, but I'm not good at it.
Me neither. But we just re rolled We just go back in time a lot.
So yeah, like if I wanted that eye, where is her little eye pupil? Oh yeah, her pupils. There we go.
But see, that's an interesting thing in my rigs lately, because I've been doing lots of them. I'm better at it now. um, a lot of the time, you know, the little highlights for the pupil.
Mm-hmm.
I started like to give it um, its own little handle, so that even when it's not showing in the eye, instead of having to go in my node view and get it, I can just click, because there's like a handle that's always appearing, but that doesn't show up in render.
Oh,
And
okay,
that thing
cool.
saves me so much time. I love it so much.
I will say for people who are learning how to rig, sometimes if you have an eyeball and you see like that little ugly white line.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, so I just noticed that. So I just put a matte resize and then go inside of it and just like, I'll just play with it. So like one actually works. But usually I do like 0.5 and then, okay, you can still see a little bit of the line. So like maybe 0.6. Yeah, that's about it. And then you'll see it's much cleaner. I think that's just the program. Like,
it's anti-aliasing, and usually the way to go around it is that you, especially for the eyes, you can just separate the eye whites and the outside, like the line, and then if you cut the pupil just on the color of the eye whites and you put the line work on top, you'll never get this bug. The thing with the match resize is that depending on how close you are from the character, like you will always need to readjust the match resize with your camera movement. But yeah,
okay,
I can show you later actually.
Yes, please. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm still learning a whole bunch of things in rigging.
Oh, me too, 100%. I learned some things last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which brings to a very interesting question. Someone asked, this might be niche, but what's your latest, oh my god, Toon Boom can do that type of moment?
For me, like it's not new, but I really love the new capture motion button.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like if I do a camera, because I love doing animation, like just having that little bit of subtle movement can make it look more organic to me. Let's see.
Yeah. And it's funny because I asked a lot for that feature because I had it in Toon Boom Studio years ago, and then I asked the team at Toon Boom, like, why does Toon Boom Studio have the capture motion tool, and why does this one, like, why does Harmony doesn't? They're like, yes, it does. I'm like, pretty sure it doesn't. They're like, oh my god, we didn't port that one. So then they fixed it for the new version.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah.
I'm very happy that it's there.
It's like I'll use it for I mean, I don't know if it's hard to see, but like if you're doing like a home video kind of animation, it's really nice because it has like it's super fast.
It gives a more organic look.
It does, yeah. I'll do like even my animations, I'll add like a really, really tiny capture motion on it just so the camera isn't super still. Like yeah, that's the thing, like static, like just so it feels just a tiny little bit more real.
And for peeps that don't have a recent version, because I think the capture motion is in 21. I might be mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
If you have an older version, you can also take the shake node and just give it very, very tiny parameters, and it should give you something similar.
Yeah, but
just attach it to your camera.
But I'm lazy, so just.
Me too. What is the thing that I experienced that oh my god, we can do that type of moment? I know there was something last week. Well, okay, yeah, some weeks ago I figured that I could import a image in Harmony and it would create my palettes automatically with the colors on the image. I was like, what?
So that's cool. Yeah, I think I discovered that by accident too. It just like did it for me. I'm like, oh.
You upload, I think, like a vector image, and when you scan it, quote unquote, you can put like a line of code that says like transform like colors into swatches, and it's in the software. Like I didn't have to code anything, so it's really cool. I need to make a video about that.
Sometimes I'll do snip. This isn't like by intentional, but I remember like it happened on Hilda where I found a drawing of Garfield that like I thought was funny, so I snipped it and
Where
showed
is
it
this
to my
going?
team. Okay, but what I didn't know is sometimes the snippet tool, whenever I paste something in the Toon Boom, it will take like what I copied on my snip tool and put it in
And
Toon
make it a
Boom.
swatch?
Yes. So I remember I was working with Hilda, then all of a sudden like she had a Garfield face like inside her head, and I was like, "What the?" And I was like,
Oh,
"That
okay.
just happened." I wish I
Well, but
could.
that's an important point. Let it be known in Harmony, if you copy and paste an image, it will paste on your layer.
Yeah, which I didn't
Because I
know.
hate to import images. I just copy. Sometimes instead of importing in Toon, I kid you not, I
Oh,
just
copy and
drag and drop
paste.
the file
Me
in Discord,
too.
and then I copy and paste it in Harmony.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Sometimes like this. Sometimes the image isn't quite clean enough to get away, but
yeah.
I think for reference it's great. Like
Oh, speaking of reference, there's a new view. Well, it was called the model view, but now it's called the reference view. And you
what
can copy
though?
and paste image in this, by the way. Like the view
Where
now is called reference view. You should check it out.
is it here?
Yeah, it's in the views.
Whoa.
No, it's yeah, there. Do you have
But
reference? Yeah.
I put the reference here though.
Where?
Ooh. Oh, like
You
not
put
at the
them on the
start.
screen?
Yeah.
Well, now you can use the reference view, which is one of my favorite feature
Oh
in
my
Harmony as a
goodness.
whole.
I didn't know about that.
Because I always only have one screen usually. Because connecting my computer to my tablet is too much effort. So I
Hmm.
usually do everything just on my laptop with a tiny screen. So having my reference in there, especially for rigging when you want to do like poses and stuff. Like I
Oh.
like to sketch my poses, put them there, and then no matter how zoomed I am on my rig, I always see my reference because it's not on the side of the camera or whatever. So now you know. Um yeah, okay, we have other questions. Is there a way to save things in the reference view so that they're there the next time you open the projects? Absolutely. If you're using Harmony 22 and you put some things in, you import a reference into the model view. I'll show the documentations in a moment, but yeah, it will be there the next time you open it. So now you know. um, Thank you, Pillow Petite, to say that the character looks nicely animated. That's very nice. Do I have another question? Oh, that one is fun. Hi, I want to ask how often you guys have to mix traditional animation with cutout in a production.
I know for Mercury it was very rigged based.
Mm-hmm.
There were special poses, but they had a whole team to like figure that out just because it was too much work for to ask the animator to like focus on that and then get their quotas done.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like to see. I love doing hybrid animation on my own stuff because honestly, like sometimes like just drawing it out is a lot
It's
faster.
quicker. Yeah.
Yeah. The so the thing with me is sketching stuff out is faster, but I don't really like the cleanup and coloring stage.
Yep.
So that's why I like to work with rigs because it does help like speed up that process. Because I did find in school, I love doing the rough animation, but I really struggled like keeping focus on the cleanup stage.
And like I'm a cleanup artist. Like I like to clean up, but I hate to clean up my own stuff because I don't know how to draw. So,
Yeah, your stuff is great though.
thank you. But yeah, and that's actually I'm happy you say that because that's actually when I describe rigging like high quality cutout animation like to people, it's not necessarily that it's quote unquote faster than hand drawn animation. I think the speed is just different.
Mm-hmm.
Where rigged animation will be faster than hand drawn in certain cases. But if you have to do a 3 minute short for someone, like maybe no a 30-second short for someone, spending 6 months rigging all your characters,
Mm-hmm.
no, like just hand draw it. It might be faster depending on the style. Um, because rigged animation shows on the pre-production side of things, you will have a lot more to do. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're making a 30-second project, well, sometimes you might just hand draw. It's gonna be faster. And if you're going a show that's gonna go for 8 seasons, you will have a lot of reuse with
Mm-hmm.
those rigged in 8 seasons, and you'll have less and less new hands to draw, less and less you poses to make. Of course, when you update a rig, it's gonna break a lot of the library, but there's still you don't need to update every rig. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you don't update a rig at all. So I think the speed gain is in different places. Whereas, like you just said, in hand-drawn animation, roughing animation in hand-drawn is 100 times faster
Mm-hmm.
than in cutout animation. Um, so if you want to learn how to animate, just draw it. And in my opinion, just like rough out poses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where rig is going to make you win a lot of time, especially in production, is when you try to clean that rough animation. Um,
I also
Especially for
find,
retake, right?
yeah, I also find with some styles of the shows, like, I find rigged animation doesn't look great.
Mm-hmm.
I think like with anime too, just because.
Oh, anime? Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
I
rig
know
that.
people try like with rigged animation, it doesn't work.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's shows
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like with Hilda. I know a lot of people don't even realize it's rigged. I think, yeah, for me, like I certain styles for shows like definitely like can utilize rigs a lot better than others.
Mm-hmm. And with with rig also, when you do the cleanup, it's good for retakes too, because if you have your character, let's say you have this bird and you have a retake being like, the eye could be a bit smaller on the left, or like move the
Mm-hmm.
pupil, like, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Just if you want to move like the pupil that's behind the nose, if it was hand-drawn animation, you need to redraw the whole freaking
Yeah.
face. Because everything is connected. On a rig, you can just
Mm-hmm.
take the pupil and move it, so it's so much faster for small
Yeah.
corrections like that.
I will say in Toon Boom, it is easier to fix things, like even if it is hand drawn,
Mm-hmm.
than it like, well, back in my day, like with paper, yeah, it was like, oh, you got to move this thing, and then you're like, oh,
You're like, oh
I
no.
literally had to go back and like erase it and fix it. I will say for Toon Boom, like I'll just do something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I was like, but then they're like, oh, can you please move that eye up a bit? It is a little bit easier because you can select things like a little bit easier than
Yep.
it used to be. I mean, the more lines you do, like it is gonna be harder to like try to figure it out because it is gonna like select each line.
Yeah, or like move the arm a little bit across 2 or 3 frames. In hand drawn, you do need to, like, you might need to erase and reconnect lines, and it's like so much faster in cutout. Because I worked on Big Hero 6, the series, which is funny because Tangled and Big Hero 6 were both Disney series done at the same time. One was rigged, one was hand drawn.
I thought Big Hero 6 was rigged though, by the looks of it.
Well, it's
Like,
because we had the same quotas as rigged animation, so we had good corners all the
yeah,
time. But it
oh my
was hand
god.
drawn. So imagine when Disney's like, "Oh yeah, move that pupil a bit." I'm like, "No, the
You're like
pupil
a,
has so many details. If I move it, I have to redraw the face."
mm-hmm.
So I think it was designed to be rigged, but then they didn't find a studio to rig it. So anyway, it was great. It was great to work on. Great, crazy experience. Um,
Disney, if you're
yeah.
listening, we love you. Please don't hire us.
Yes. But honestly, but that okay, that's also interesting. Whichever production you work on, there's always amazing times and always things that you're like, why? So it's just normal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Give or take. Yeah.
There's
Nothing
definitely
is perfect.
there's definitely times where I'm like, Why did I choose this as a career?
But that's the case for every career,
Oh
so
yeah,
don't worry,
yeah.
people.
I will say
Um,
you will have those moments, but it always goes away once I actually see the final result. And then the best part for me is like seeing people react to your
right?
animation.
The emotions that people have when like making animation is like being a wizard. You can make people
Yeah.
feel all these emotions. It's so cool. We have a cool question in the chat. It says, "How long did it take you guys to understand the node view, and what are good practices for someone learning how to take advantage of the nodes in general?" I can say very fast. It took me like 7 years to learn how to use that thing, but I took that 7 years in. Now I make videos every week, so you can just watch it and learn it in 3 seconds.
Oh yeah,
Life is not
yeah.
fair. How about you?
Um, it was interesting because I think the way my brain works, it actually understood how the node view worked faster than usual. Because for me,
Right.
like I was struggling with the third year animation. I know I was failing. I just like something didn't click for me with animation. Like
Same.
I could get it done, but I never had that aha moment until we started learning Toon Boom with rigging. And then in my head, I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about cleaning it up and
Redoing everything.
redrawing it over and over again because that's what got me every time. Um,
Like you would start a project and then the kind of the hype would die down because
yeah.
I have this idea, but then I have to redraw the eyes 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I'm the same. Oh my god, you're like the first person I meet who's like that. Wow.
Well, I know,
That's so
like, yeah, because I felt bad because everyone was getting it, but I just couldn't get it. And then I think it was because of rigging. Like, it really helped me get over that hurdle. Um, and I still like I enjoy doing hand drawn stuff now than I did in college. Also, college is just that's a whole different story.
like you're learning animation. It's so
You're
hard.
learning. You're learning
Now we know how to
everything.
animate.
Yeah, like you're doing layout, you're doing animation. You had to do life drawing. I had my job on the
Everything.
I had my job on the side too. Um, just yeah, I know with college, it's going to be very different from college than it is working in the industry. Um,
Yeah. But I'm the same. Like the node things caught on very well fast. Like
mhm.
when I was introduced to Toon Boom in animation school, I was like, I hate it. It's not Flash because I've been using Flash since I was 8 years old. I'm to up to like 18, 19 years old when I was in animation school, right?
Oh,
And
okay,
it's like,
yeah,
why is it not Flash? And then that's my phase lasted a week because then the teacher opened the notebook. I was like, what?
yeah.
This
Oh,
is everything I dreamed for. This is great. I can bye. So like then I fell in love with Harmony. So that's cool. Um, yeah.
yeah. I know some.
Um,
I know some veteran Flash people. They like were pretty stubborn with Toon Boom, but then once they
oh,
actually
I
got
was not.
once they got to it, they're like, "Oh my god, I'm never going back."
Yeah, that's why I'm like the phase lasted a week, which is like probably one class, and I was like, you know what, Flash is no, I like Harmony. Yeah, was it called Harmony back then or Digital Pro? I forgot. Yeah, it was Harmony
Uh,
9. Yeah,
oh
I
my
started on
gosh,
Harmony 9. It was
9.
old.
Whoa.
It was beige.
I think it was Harmony 11 for me.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
I'm trying to remember like what I think Tangled used 10.
Uh, Tangled used 14.
Was it 14?
Yes. Vanguard used 10 though. You're almost right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, from the making ofs I've seen on Google, because I've seen images like photographs of screens, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that Tingle had a black screen, so it's not 11.
Oh, okay.
But Vanguard had like a beige interface. I'm like, that's gonna be 10 ish.
That's crazy.
um, Oh, do you guys get? Oh, that's a good one. Do you? I mean, they're all good. They were all good questions today. I'm super impressed. Usually, there's like 2 or 3 questions, and that's it. Today, chat, you are acing it. Good job. I give you a star, like a medal, star medal.
What? Oh, I never get stars from you.
I mean,
Jealous.
what? I never got stars from anyone. I'll give you
Oh,
one. I'll give it to you.
thank you.
Um, do you have to get used to work with every new rigs you use? I feel like some rigs structures can be similar, but it takes a while to fully know each one before you get animating. This is super interesting because first, no shows are usually rigged the same, but studios, oh my god, every
Oh
studio
yeah.
create a rig, right? So how do
I
you
know.
feel about it?
I know for me, like I was with Mercury for 7.5 years. Um, so I was so used to how they did rigs. So when I did like a freelance stuff with different rigs, I'd be like, huh?
Mhm.
Even if it was like quote unquote simpler animation, it was still like quite a learning curve. Because yeah, each studio has like their own different methods of rigging. And there's also moments where I'm like, oh, this is way like faster than the one at work. But
Mhm.
I know like once people get a system going, it's a little hard for them to change it.
I know.
Right
Yeah, that
now,
that's
yeah, right.
something I. Oh no, go for it. Go for it.
Oh no, I was gonna say I right now I'm working for the Wild Kratts, and their rigs are a lot more simpler than what I'm used to. But I find the way they did it, it's a lot smoother to work with, and I love. You guys should check out the Wild Kratts. Like they've done
I
this.
love that show so.
I
It's one of my
know
favorite shows. I'm not gonna
it's
lie. Like I'm not being like cheesy. Like I really love that show so much.
yeah, like they did Zaboomafoo back in the day, and
Mhm.
they're on season 7 right now for the Wild Kratts, and I just the style is so like cute because it's a lineless look, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a fun show and it's very educational. I'm learning a lot
Right?
just
I love
working
the
on the
story.
show.
Like they have this villain guy who just like wants to cook every animal, and I'm like, like he's a villain, but he's actually justified. He just want to have a good meal. Like
Yeah,
who doesn't want to have a
it's a good meal.
good meal? Oh my god, what are these pipes? If only I was that. What do we say? Rip. I don't know. Strong. um. Oh, that's interesting. And then people are very happy in the chat, so that's cool. Thank you.
Everyone's getting along,
Um.
no arguments.
Yeah, everybody's nice.
Oh,
Um. Then we have on Twitch. Is there anything going? Okay, yeah. I do have a couple last questions because we only have 7-ish minutes left. Maybe like
oh,
10. Let's say 10 minutes. So that's
okay.
it goes so fast. I don't get it.
That's crazy fast. Dang.
I know. Um, just to maybe encourage people in the chat, I
Okay.
would ask, what is the hardest thing to that you had to get when you were starting to learn rigging? Like what was for you like the biggest hurdle? I know for me it was a lot, and it still is a lot about the hierarchy. Like people always think of the cutout, like the cutter nodes and the node magic, but to
Mm-hmm.
me the hardest thing is the hierarchy. Like how do I put the pivot? How do I connect those? Because there's so many answers. So that I'm
Mm-hmm.
still learning. So make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah, that's the only way you can learn is like
Mm-hmm.
if there's a method that you think might work, just try it out.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's the only way to see if it's going to work or not. Because technically, like you could have a rig that is technically very advanced, but if you can't animate with it, it's going to be
Yeah.
a useless rig.
Oh, yeah, that's a mistake a lot of people do. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
Harmony can do all of these things, therefore I will put every feature in my rig. I'm like, no,
Well, I
don't
know
do
a lot
that.
of young artists. They'll have like master control is great, but like I know people will have
But
like master controls for like every little thing, and then all of a sudden you have like
ugh,
20 like scrollers, and they're like, this one's for when they blink. This one is for the hair movement. And
I'm
I'm
like, you
like,
don't need that.
you don't need it.
To me, master controllers, if I need to move 5 pieces to get that thing, yes, put it on. Like if you have a blink that is very
Mm-hmm.
complex, yes, like maybe do a blanket for the front view, like in the quarter for like okay, but then it's just a head start, right? And like and maybe do it for like the rotation of the head. Sure, if your styles ask for it, but if you animate a show that is mostly characters on 3/4 front all the time, you don't
Mm-hmm.
need that. Like you don't need a fancy 360 rig. I
No, no,
never rig
no, no,
360. I
no.
always rig 180 at most, like from profile to front or something.
I did try doing the 360 just to see. Wait, where is Num Num? Hang on. Can you
Nom,
see
nom,
my?
nom. I can see your files,
Okay, hang on. Let me just.
but it's very blurry, so we don't see what's written on it. So in case you were worrying,
Okay, is it gone now, or is it still
yes,
there?
it's gone.
Okay, just because I do have
And
some NDA
and
stuff.
while you search for that, I will
Mhm.
say when you rig a character, if you have a storyboard of your projects, which you should, usually it's a great thing to prevent
Mhm.
you from rigging things you don't need. You look at your storyboard, and usually the magic number is like rig your character so that it can do like 60-70% of that storyboard. Like if you have at one point a crazy helicopter shot and you see your character from above, you'll figure it out on that scene. Like don't rig a character so that it can rotate in every angle, like every angle, because you can also do what we call a rig per scene, where you're
Mhm.
gonna or like special posing. I think that's what they called it at Merc. Oh, that thing is so cute. Walk us through it, please.
His name is Num Num. This is one where I was like playing with the master controller, but it's really simple. It's just like his little head turn, like whenever he looks down, it squishes a tiny bit.
Oh, cutie pie.
Yeah, so this is when like maybe it's not necessary to have this, but it is fun to like try out to see like how well it tweens.
Like and master controllers to do that kind of things, I love it because
Mhm.
to get that motion and just like what I call a discussion, like because you're not sure, like you're trying, like, do I want this angle or this angle? Amazing, I love this, but you don't need a
Yeah.
master controllers for everything. Like oh, this is a master controllers for my character does a hand wave. No, don't do
Yeah,
that.
you don't need that. No, 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 no,
No, no, no,
no.
no. Um, oh, that's
And
great. Oh, I love that you show that as well. Because one thing I really wanted to cover before we leave.
uh-huh.
Oh, it's a quadruped. It's so cute. Oh, you did so well. Good job.
Thank you. This one is super like simple. I love to do a simple rigs just to see like how fast I can make it. It's not
Yeah, that's what I
perfect.
wanted to say as well. People listening to this stream that want to learn rigging, which is many, right?
Mhm.
When you rig, please do not start. And for I say that for you guys, do not
Mhm.
start like everybody's like, I will rig Spider-Man or I'm gonna make a rig of Naruto. I'm like, no, rig a potato with a face on it.
Mhm.
Rig a bouncing ball. Like I think like I that was my journey learning rigging. I learned it by necessity. Like I just wanted to learn it to make my animations, right? So
Mhm.
I started with something simple. I did an eye, a mouth. I did a ball, a face, a shoulder connection to a torso because that's not easy. Not every character is the same. So seeing your little guy here, the what did you say it was called?
His name is
Munch,
Num Num
munch,
Num.
num num. Yeah. Please, people, when you learn rigging, start small and
Mhm.
fail often. So make tiny thing, make mistakes, and then learn in the next rig. I rigged so many characters before I even attempted a full body character. Like I rigged so many things just to learn it. And
Well,
my name is the Bird Brain. I raise my hand. I've made so many rigs mistakes. Like I sent rigs to my friends, being like, "Try." I sent one to you. And I was like, "What do you think?" And a lot of things I did in there I would never do today because I learned from the mistakes, right? So
oh yeah,
it's a
yeah.
humbling job, I think.
I know. Like I will say, like for a really good example of like how like a simple rig can still look amazing is if you just check out Hilda. Um, Look at the little elves. They're literally a
Oh yeah.
circle. There's a circle with a triangle body, and the arms and legs are sticks. It is probably the most simple character design you'll see, and it's just if you know how to animate well, you can make a very simple looking rig still look amazing. That's a really good example. I can think of.
Because the more complex a rig or a design is, the more you're gonna hinder your animators. Because instead of
Hmm.
animating, we'll be like me and what Rebecca and I were saying, where like, oh, instead of making a nice animation, I have to worry about all these details. So therefore, I will not make amazing animation because there's too many things to move. So
Yeah,
yeah,
less is more. I will say for designs, like only have what makes sense for the design. Don't have something just because it looks nice.
yeah. Like what my teachers would say, my character design teacher was like, what does that detail bring to your story? If it's
Yeah.
nothing, it's better be simple to draw.
Hmm.
So, oh, and if you want advice, people, for rigging, avoid details on joints. If your character
Hmm.
has an elbow and knees, don't put details there. Put it elsewhere, not there. Like striped pants, like vertical striped pants, forget it. It's awful. It's it's
Yeah, I mean,
possible.
you
Is it gonna
can
be
if
fun?
you want.
No.
It's gonna be very boring and tedious to animate, but you can do it if
Yeah.
you want. I mean, if you want 50 rings, go for it. We're just telling you, it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah. But rings can work
Hmm.
if the knee is one ring, so the rings happens above and below the knee, or like the elbows. That I've seen, like I've cheated my way out of it, so that works.
Hmm.
When you have like vertical stripes, like that goes, maybe like the lines goes from the shoulder to the hand, like, and you have many like parrot
Yeah,
pants in a way.
if they're
Then when you
like,
fold the arm, you have to reconnect all the lines. Excuse me, no.
yeah,
No one has time for this. It doesn't
yeah.
bring anything to the story at all.
If they're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's like 50 lines here. I mean, depending on the
Mhm.
style of the show, you could have like high detail if the animation is simple.
Like
Um,
Monster High, these rig girls, like with the crazy clothing, it worked because the production chose to always have these characters quarter front
yeah.
facing, and they don't do backflips.
Oh yeah, like
It's okay. It's just a discussion show. You just talk.
that's true. Yeah.
That's a cute thing.
But if they're like, we want this character to like do a dance, and you're like, with that much detail,
Not happening. That was so fun. It's already past 2, so we have like maybe
Oh,
2 minutes just to wrap it up. Is there anything you want to add that we didn't talk about?
no, I'm okay. I always have fun talking on these things. I
Yeah,
hope we
me
answered
too.
enough questions. I guess that's my only concern.
I think we do, and if we didn't, we'll have to call you back.
Oh,
So maybe I can wait like a 2 more minutes. Like if anyone has any questions in the chat, it's time. I'm gonna take a look. But I think we answered most of them. We have Ali in the chat being seeing that watching Rebecca animations uh just wants me to make amazing animation myself. So yeah, he's very happy. So
oh, thank you.
and yeah, lots of love from everyone. So that's cool.
Oh, thank you. I guess
Oh,
like
for
also
mhm.
like whatever other than ringing, like is there anything else people would like to hear next time, I guess?
Oh yeah, what do you guys want to know? Tell us. And also for the question about like how to get used to a new rig, depending on the studio and on what you're going to work on, sometimes studios, if the characters are in the same show, um, and they're all in the same kind of tier, because there's main characters and then there's secondary characters, incidentals, they usually are not rigged the same. Usually the studios will have like shows will have something that is like common to most rigs, so like the recipe will stay the same, so that helps.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, I know that when I make rigs, I usually make these little images that I share to people, being like, this is what this handle does, and this and that. So that can also help. But yeah, just explore it. And yeah.
Make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Let's see, like right here,
Oh,
the steps
someone
of
asked.
mistake.
That is true. Someone asked, where do you find cooler harmony vector brushes? Um, there's some on the internet. I know I have some on my Discord server. I can share a link right there before we go.
I know for me,
Yeah.
I just imported one. It was like Frank's animator brush. and the corgi brush.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The corgi brush is so great.
I love the corgi brush. I did make a new texture. I don't know where it went, but I did like I was following your video actually on like doing it on Photoshop, and then you can
Yeah,
import the brush PNG into Toon Boom, and it will use that.
yeah. I'm gonna share the link right now. So
Yeah,
people in the chat that are asking about better brushes, here I have a video that shows you how to make your own, and it's so easy. You should always make. You should always try to make your own. It's so fun, so easy, and
yeah,
then you're happy because it's yours.
yeah. It is. It does feel more personal when you make it your own, and it's just fun because like you can definitely just like play around with the brush settings just to see like what looks cool. Because I will admit, like the flat rig look is kind of boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can put a little texture on it and then slap a animate pencil texture node, and it just makes your line wiggle without an effort. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was learning more about that because before, like with Hilda, we had to do the let's see, it was like
Yeah,
the
but now it's
color.
automatic.
Yeah, it was the color override. I still do the color override just because like I've learned that's what I've been doing this whole time. But I am trying
Yeah,
to learn the pencil texture.
it's a lot lighter to use, so I really recommend it. That's why we put it in.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I'll show you after how to use it. But I think that's all, folks. I put the link to my Discord server where there's more brushes. I know Toon Boom took. I mean, I gave all my brushes to the new versions of Harmony, so now they're already in. But I'll have to make more this year. And yeah, thank you so much for coming over, Rebecca. It was a pleasure as usual.
Oh yeah,
And
thanks for having me on.
everybody, you should check Rebecca's stuff on Twitter. It's amazing.
Thank
A
you.
lot of very funny animations. I know you did some of Digital Circus too that were very
Oh,
entertaining.
yeah, yeah, that's just fan art.
I know it's fun art, but fun art is fun, and
Yeah.
it's great to see it in your style as well. You have your project, a royal paint that you're working on.
Yeah, I'm doing a revamp on that. That's the
Same,
thing. Yeah, like even if you, I have like I think I have like three versions of the same rigs, but like just slightly different designs or ways
me
to make
too.
it
Yo, we should do a
easier.
stream about that,
Sure, I could
talking
probably
about our
find.
character
Yeah,
evolution.
my first rigs are so ugly, but yeah, I could show
Mm.
them.
Okay, okay, I'll try to plan that. And yeah, with that, we will wish you farewell, people.
All right, you guys take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.